Greetings, magnificent, beautiful, precious, eternal spirit soul that you are. Take a breath, breathe right into your heart, out of your mind. Notice where you are. Be right there. My topic: depower the enemy within. See, we've been feeding the enemy, and the enemy is with us in every single moment until we recognize the enemy and we take command, take dominion. And that enemy within is doubt. Doubt in yourself, doubt in the divine God, doubt in good, doubt in who you are, doubt that is possible. And what does that mean? That you're believing something else that you don't doubt, that you give your faith to, that you give your power to, that you give your energy to, that you give life to because you say it is life, because you're the giver of life, because life is who you are. Yes. Take a nice deep breath. Oh, when it's cold out here, my nose runs. So then I'm going, because it's just what happens. It's probably just cleaning, but I apologize. Anyway. Depower the enemy within. And the whole thing you've heard probably divide and conquer, because that's how most wars operate, and the war within yourself. And that is that, I call that the battle of Armageddon, because it is the battle between either trusting yourself or trusting the mind. And the mind, those thoughts, those beliefs, those concepts, those ideals, whatever you've been taught to believe is valuable and important in this world in order to get along and go along and be successful and, survive, and all of this causes conflict within yourself. And that means that you're in conflict with your own divine nature. There was a kind of a sad story and probably has happened many, many times. But it was a story about a little boy who had raised his sheep, his little lamb. He loved his little lammy, and he raised it all those years, and then went to the fair, and then it won the prize, and they said, oh, good, now we have to sell it because they're going to kill it. And it was like the little boy, and maybe he was told he had to kill it himself. I don't know. This is so terrible for people. And to make him strong, make him a man, you have to, I'm right. That so damaged that person. And when I heard that was a man who had become a vegetarian, and he was sharing the pain and the sorrow to have to kill his little sweet little lammy, just like it wouldn't matter who it was and what it was. And you get pictures of these people, they think they're so brave killing an elephant or a tiger or a lion or something. There's just gross, pathetic, pitiful activity. And how you depower that enemy from within is you stop trusting concepts, what you've been taught, what people tell you is true. You stop trying to change who you are to fit, to belong, to be acceptable. It's that you actually invest in yourself, in knowing and being who you are, and bringing forth your talents and your abilities, bringing forth what feels right in your heart as to who you are. They'll call you weak, they call you stupid, call you a airy-fairy case of whatever, because name-calling, ridicule is just such a great tool, a weapon for so many people crumble under ridicule. That's another enemy. And that word ridicule or ridiculous means, if you pronounce it a different way, ridicule us. Ridiculous, ridicule us. Pronounce the words in a different way, different phonetics, and begin to tell you how this is built and what's actually taking place in the language. Depower the enemy from within. And how you do that, you have to notice what the enemy is. Who's talking you out of being who you are? Who's convincing you to be miserable and terrified all the time? Who is it is telling you you're no good and you're not beautiful enough, you're not smart enough, you're not strong enough, you're not capable, you don't have enough money, you don't have enough power, you don't have enough of this or that? Everybody liked everybody. And you've had all these 3 strikes or whatever. What do you mean 3 strikes and you're out? That's stupid. That's baseball game. And who's making the strikes? And it's a strike? It's a hit? What is this? This is such a foreign place, and you might say, that is so appears so against who we are, that it's so important to get into nature where there's still integrity, where you could, and why are people so in love with their dogs and cats? Because basically that they're not judging. You can be who you are. But it's more than that. That people don't think they have relationships, but they're just texting, and they have all these so-called friends out there that they're blabbing everything to and everything every way. And so trying so hard to make it and to be popular and to have friends and get a thumbs up. And, it's on and on. It's just relentless. It's the enemy driving that person, exhausting that person. They can't sleep. They're abusing themselves constantly about what a loser they are. And as soon as you're going to do something, oh, you can't do it. It's too many people. There are already so many people out there doing that. You might as well not even try, because you're never going to. No, you need to do that because that's what you do. You need to sing that song because that's what you do. You need to write because that's what you do. You need to make that painting and do that sculpture because that's what you do. You need to counsel and work with people because that's what you do. This is who you are. And when you stop feeding the demon, the monster, that is always trying to control and manipulate you and everything and everyone else, that means we're allowing this enemy, these belief systems to suck the life force out of us, to defeat us. What is to defeat? Means knock you off your feet, knock you on the ground. Okay. When you're ready, like when I'm barefooted outside and climb, and I'm ready. If I'm going to, and I could fall 20 times a day or start to, but I always catch myself because you're ready, you're balanced, you're centered. And notice how much more energy you'd have is you stop wallowing in self-pity, or stop hating people, or grudges, and I'm going to get even, and just infuriates me because this is what good does that do? Do something. Don't just emotionalize it and drown in this. You have an eternal existence. This is who you are. And sooner or later, you got to know who you are. But what happens is all the suffering that goes on until a person does. And where does the suffering coming about? From our own mind. And from the minds of others, also feeding that because they're suffering and full of hate for themselves and hate for everybody else and hate for God. And let me kill and let me hate and all that. What's the issues? How are you working for the betterment of the quality of a human life or an animal life? And what could be better than being in nature? Clean water, clean air, good food and nutritious in this realm. And when you take your power back, that means you stop torturing yourself. Stop self-abuse. The greatest terrorist weapon ever invented is your own mind. And if it's terrorizing you, it's because you're allowing it, you're letting it, and then you say, yeah, but these people said this to me, then okay, now let's say, what's the game? What are you trying to prove? Are you a living example, or somebody you know a living example of abuse? Well, really, wee-haw, got a prize. I can prove I was abused. Look at me. And this is 40 years later. Really? What happened? What happened? Stop now. Stop right where you are. Breathe. This is the first moment of the rest of eternity, and you have an eternal existence. Empower yourself, and when you do, the enemy has no power at all, because they got it from you.
Good one. Woo-hoo.